Hi everybody, welcome to Friday Sews. I'm Alison, this is sort of like Dotty, and this is just a little catch up of what I have been up to this week and maybe where I'm at with Friday Sews for July, following my sewing plans. So it feels like in a week that I didn't feel like I got much done, I feel like I've suddenly got some stuff done. My sojo took a little weekend break. Not planned, but sometimes that's the way life is. Anyway, it's back, and you may have seen by the thumbnail picture that you clicked on, I have finally got round after a couple of months to getting my projector all set up. So I'm going to tell you all about that. I'm going to tell you about the top that I'm wearing, a pattern that I've got this week, and some fabric, and yeah, just a few things. So hopefully it won't be too long, and bear with me until the end, because a couple of people have asked me about how the Fibre Mood subscription works. So I'm going to leave that right to the end if you're interested in that. So let's kick off with my week. So Carl has very much been in tech support this week. I really wanted to get my projector set up, which is just on my cutting mat here. So I'm really lucky I've got an AO cutting mat. In terms of projector files, so some people cut out on the floor, and there's a brilliant Facebook group which Sasha is the admin of. I think lots of other people are probably admin and do a lot of things behind the scenes, and it is incredible, honestly. So they give you real step-by-step of how to get going with projector files. So if you don't know what they are, that's basically using a projector to project your pattern onto your fabric. And it's not as scary as it sounds, I absolutely promise. So they literally take you through step one, which is the right sort of projector for you. Now, I wanted to use my cutting mat. There's no way I could get up or down off the floor. My back's just, no. But some people do project onto the floor. So the type of mat you need is determined by the clearance from where you're cutting out to where the projector's going to be. So if you wanted to either mount it on the ceiling or have it on a stand, but you had the clearance, you could just get a regular sort of projector, which can work out a bit cheaper. I don't have that clearance, so mine is literally just above my cutting mat. So we did a couple of trials. We tried it on some boxes, those pesky boxes that were hiding that fabric. It was sandwiched between them the other week, but Carl found it actually. So we did that, but now Carl has he's wall mounted it basically on some screws, and that's it. It's in exactly the right position. You could use Adobe, you know, if you've ever kind of printed your own patterns at home, and you can go into Adobe, go into layers and select your size and print it out on A4 sheets. You could do that, but some absolute genius member of the Projector Patterns Facebook group has devised this whole system that you can access. It's completely for free. It works in exactly the same way as Adobe would, so you can select your layers. I am going to try and put a video in with me talking over it, but I'm not sure if that's going to work. So I'm going to give you a quick look at how I load up Pattern Projector. So Pattern Projector is just, you can use it as an app, or you can just use it through your search engine sort of thing. Probably not saying that right. So this is just your initial sort of calibration grid. I won't go into that. You click on projector, open PDF. I'm going to choose the London top, which is the one I'm wearing today. I click on the file, so I want AO projector, so I want this one here. So I open this, and there you've got the files. So I'm going to remove the grid and remove the background and the calibration. There we go. So I'm going to leave on the info, but I'm going to take off the regular sizes. Now I want the extra large, but it's the extra large SA file that I need for the projector. So once you've set your calibration, unless you're moving your projector, you don't have to recalibrate, although it doesn't take very long at all. So if you wanted to grade between sizes, you just choose the two sizes that you wanted on the screen, and then just as you would on a paper pattern, you could draw a line, or you could use a ruler, or you could use your eye to gauge where you wanted to do it to. So that is my pattern chosen there. So I'm going to get rid of the layers, and I'm going to take it to full size. So effectively this is now my pattern. Sometimes this comes up and sometimes it doesn't, but it's not bothering me. Sorry if it does get on your nerves. So you can see there's a test square. So this is the front piece and it is a cut on the fold piece, so I'm going to rotate it. I would usually work left to right on my cutting mat, so this is it. Now I could do it on single fabric and have it fully open, but I would tend to cut it on the fold just as I would normally with a paper pattern. So I'd fold in the fabric where I wanted the centre of this piece to be, and I would line that up on the cutting mat with that line as it's projected. You can change the colours, so depending on what colour you're using, you've got a yellow, you've got a green, or you've got the purpley blue. I've done a facing for the next one rather than the bias binding. So to do that, I've just done what I would have done on a paper pattern. So after I'd cut the front piece out on the fold, I've then just moved the fabric along on the fold, and I've just used this part here to go along, round, down, and create that facing. And I've done that on the front and the back. You can see the notches are there. I did find when I made this, everything just went together like a breeze, and you've got all the pieces there. So this is the back. So you just move it with your mouse, you know, to get it in the position you want it to be in. Sleeves are going, obviously following the grain line, but if you're using something like I've used today, the black viscose, which has no direction in it, and I want it round the other way, you can just press this and it'll rotate it round. Obviously if you're following the direction, you can just kind of keep it where it was, so you can just keep changing the direction, and it's literally as easy as that. It's really clear to see, just like a pattern you would cut on the line, and I found it really easy to use, so I hope that's interesting for you. It takes you through everything. So you've got to calibrate your projector. I know this sounds super complicated, but it's not. It basically projects a grid onto your screen. So the one I'm using is 16 inches by 24 inches because my cutting mat is pale pink on one side and a dark purple on the other, and it's just projecting better onto the dark purple. So we've flipped it over, but that's inches. So we selected to check it. So you know, like when you get a printed pattern and it's got that square, maybe 5 centimeters, that you measure and check, and before an AO sheet's posted out to you, they should measure and check. But always just check that, because my friend once got one and it wasn't right, so it won't go together right. So you just check that and slightly adjust it, and it's as easy as just moving the corners out a little bit and things and then measuring it. Once you've done it, if you're not moving your projector again, you just turn your projector off and on, and that's it. It's calibrated and it stays calibrated, which is why when we've got it right, Carl's fixed it to the wall. We could have put like a little stand behind my cutting table and drilled a hole through the back, because basically there isn't a pattern piece I've got, and I've got some very wide skirt pieces that would reach the back of that table, so if we'd drilled through it, it would have been fine, but we've not needed to. So it's just fixed to the wall now, and apart from like obviously a dust over, I don't need to touch it. So if you're cutting out on the floor and you've got something that you've got to set up, each time you would calibrate it, but that's something that would take minutes. And like a lot of people cut out in bulk anyway, don't they? So if that was me, if I was setting up on the floor, I'd just get it ready to cut out quite a few things in one go and you'd be done, and then put it away again. But I'm lucky it's not like that. You don't have to have an AO mat. You could have a smaller mat. I had an AO mat from my son's school, and when I moved into this room, it was one of the things I really wanted to get in place, and I love it. So somebody asked me on Instagram when I shared that I was making my first project yesterday, well, like, how do you get the pattern direction right, or how do you get your fabric right? That is no different to if it was a paper pattern, because it's just exactly the same. It's just that it's being projected on. So it's absolutely no different to if you're using a paper pattern. It's got its grain line on, it's got its where it cut on the fold markings on. Now they're not as distinguished on Fibre Mood as they are on some others, but because I've been using them, I'm quite tuned into that. What I am doing is probably more than I normally do, going back to like the pattern layout and checking how many of each one that I need to get to cut out, etc. Now, this is the first thing that I made. It's the Fibre Mood London. I have got a picture of it, and I cut this out and made it yesterday. So this is a black one, so it's not as easy to see, but I have got a picture of it in like a pale blue. For me, it's kind of a woven t-shirt. I'll drop the stock picture in now so you can see it. It has got a opening at the back. You make it with bias binding and 2 ties, which seemed overly complicated to me. So I just did one long piece of binding like you would with the Friday Pattern Company sagebrush top, and made it sort of long enough that I could tie it. Probably could have done with being a little bit longer, I think. I don't know why. But equally, if you wanted to, you could put a button and a loop at the top of it as well. Have to say, I don't even think you need to open it. So I am thinking of the next one, which is already cut, just so on the back up, because I'm not really bothered about having anything on the back of this. Now, I made it at just normal, check the pattern, check the sizes. I made it in an extra large. It's the sleeve length is as per the pattern, everything is as per the pattern. I'm not a great one for notches. If you've been with me for a while, you'll know that, but I did mark all the notches. I used my little pattern notcher. I know it's not meant to be for fabric, somebody told me last week, but I did notch this is dead thin, as you can see. It's a little bit see-through actually, but it's a bit of a twirl, a bit of a have a go. So I did mark all the notches, and I made sure, because the sleeves are fitted into it, it's white so you can't see so well, so the sleeves are fitted in there, and all the notches lined up absolutely perfectly. I've got to say, possibly more perfectly than, like, can be a bit haphazard sometimes with the old cutting out, but it was absolutely great. Obviously I just used my rotary cutter. Yeah, and hopefully the video will show you how you can rotate pattern pieces and things like that. So that's it. Now, I had like a long gathered elastic waisted like tiered skirt on yesterday, and I put this on with it, and I thought, you know, that face that I put, not sure about that. And I bought this in white, black and cerise, like a fuchsia pink. And I thought, I might have to make some different tops with it. However, isn't it incredible when you try it on with something else? Because I put it on today with my Friday Pattern Company Suero black and white pants, and I loved it immediately. I absolutely loved it, and I just think this is a easy peasy great pattern. So I'll drop some pictures in so you can see what it looks like on me. I haven't took a picture of the back actually, so hopefully you'll be able to see there. Now, I think the opening comes down a little bit too far, so on the next one I'm definitely not going to bring it down. I might just sew it up the back, and I've done a facing to go across around the neck and the back, because I'm not really a fan of bias binding, if I'm honest. And I was like, yesterday I was like, why just do one new thing when you could do 2? So my first attempt with my bias binding foot on my cover stitch machine, I did a really long one of these. Now, it was about 85% there, but it just wasn't perfect, so I just quickly unput. The thing is with cover stitch, you can quickly pull all the thread out. It's dead easy to unpick. And then I redid it, and I did cover stitch it round. I've done it on a 3 needle. You could have done it on a machine, it doesn't matter, but I'm really happy with that. But I did sit last night and watch some vlogs about how to position the attachment on the cover stitch machine, and I think I had it just in the wrong place, which was part of the problem. So I'm going to just play with some scrap fabric, probably in 2 different colours. And I forgot I've got a clear foot for that machine, so I think if I put the clear foot on, I'll be able to see exactly where those are. So there'll be more of that in the future, I promise. I'm coming up for breath now. So this is the London. Do I like it? Yes. Am I making some more? Yes. Have I already cut one out with my projector? Yes. Oh, being me, while I had it set up today, I thought, well, I think I'll get that other dress out that I had planned for July. So you may remember in my July sewing plans, I said that I was going to make, like, typical pick a dress that I can't even pronounce, which is the Giulia, Giulia. I don't know how you say it. What do you think? Giulia? I don't know. I'll just make up my own language now. So this is that dress here. It very much reminds me of the Tilly and the Buttons Lotta dress. Now, I compared the sleeve length with the sleeve length, like the finished garment length for this, with this. Now, this is finishing just sort of at my elbow, and I really like this length. I've added 4.5 inches onto this. Now, this is 30 centimetres longer, so 4.5 inches isn't 30 centimetres, but I'm just going to run with it because the front piece is like, it's not a weird shape, it's just or it might be the back, is on the, well, it's like on the wonk. That's the only way it's on the wonk. Now, I said to Carl, I managed it great on there. I couldn't actually fit the whole piece of it. I think it's because it's kind of got a pleat in the back of it built in. So this is it here, but I couldn't quite fit it all on. So what I did was I extended it here, I cut all around here, extended it here, round here and round here, and made sure the grain line was in the right place, but I couldn't quite get this bit on. So once I'd done all of this, I just sort of did a rough cut around here, and then I'd put the notches on, like I'd just drawn them on, so I just flipped it over and matched it up. But I think I'll probably make a paper pattern template of this one going forward once I've kind of done this little twirl. So the fabric that I'm using for this is over here. Sorry. This is from Pound Fabrics, and I got it last summer, and it's just been sat on my shelf. It's a viscose chalice, but it creases quite a bit. I've not got a lot of viscose in my stash, and I might have to go shopping for a bit more. Well, I have, but they're like Lady McElroy ones, and I've got some cotton lawns, but they're Liberty ones, and the special occasion ones. And I know every day is a special occasion, but when you're doing a twirl of something, you just want to cut into something that, like, yeah, if it's all right, if it doesn't quite work. So I managed it in this. Now it does say you can make it sort of slightly shorter. On the model, it's kind of just below her knee, and on the pattern, you should be able to see there on the line drawn, so you've got this piece in yellow here. So it's definitely a straighter skirt than the Tilly and the Buttons Lotta dress is. So the Tilly and the Buttons Lotta dress is a very swishy skirt. Now on the pattern piece for this, I didn't like it as swishy because parts of me were once seen by some firemen on a windy day. We'll just leave that there. So I've cut down the swoosh on this. I love that word, swoosh. So I just pulled this piece out. If I didn't have this though, I could have very easily just put a quilting ruler on and drawn the line on that I wanted from the waist onwards. So I didn't quite get the length of it that I would have liked to, by about an inch and a little bit, but I've held the pattern piece up to myself and it looks fine, so I'm okay with that. So yeah, we'll see what this looks like compared to this. Now I quite like this, it's a really simple dress, but the problem with me is it was in the days when I insisted on buying paper patterns, and of course it doesn't fit me anymore, so I don't really want to rebuy it. So this was one of my downloads from my Fabermood subscription. I think it's very similar, so we'll see how it makes up. Apart from it's got this weird, I'm calling it a weird pleat on the back, till I see what that's all about, and that might be something like I edit out of it. We will see. So yeah, so I've got two things cut out to make either next week or I don't know, but I also need to get started on my dressmaker's ball dress, which I think I know what I'm going to make, and I think I know what fabric I'm going to make it in, so I probably want to get that cut out as well. So these are the things I'm going to be working on. Okay, what else has happened this week? I got my copy of the Fabric Godmother Fleur pattern. You've all seen this. Everybody's in love with it. I'm not a blouse person per se, but I do love how the blouse looks on other people. I'm not sure it's for me, but I do love how it looks on other people, but I absolutely love the dress. I've not got an immediate plan this month to make it, just wanted to get it. So I did get that one. It's not available in projector files, so I did get that one printed off. However, you don't have to have projector files to use your projector. So if you've got an AO pattern, particularly if you've can access the layers on it, because obviously if not, it would just project all of the sizes on, and that would be quite hard to see those lines if there's a lot of lines. But what I'm gonna do is, when I was at the Fat Boy Slim gig, I'll just drop that in, on Saturday night, which was epic. I'll drop a little clip in at the end, but it was epic. Very rainy, as you'll see from this rubbish angle selfie that Carl took of us both. We did have our ponchos on. We were actually in the queue for my bottle of Diet for Pepsi Max at the bar when I heard him start. And there was one person ahead of me, and I just loved it because there was like, it's quite a big outdoor thing, so there's quite a lot of different bar things, and everybody just started jumping up and down and dancing. That atmosphere was just incredible. So I had my poncho on for about maybe 15 minutes, and then that came off. 2 hours of just pure jumping around indulgence. It was just what we needed. Anyway, so I was saying to Carl, we're back there in a couple of weeks' time, and for another James gig, I know, the 4th, in a little while. And I said to him, what I could do with is like a cardigan that I'm quite happy with just tying around my waist, but all my sleeves fit in. You know, my ongoing issue, because all my sleeves are big, and if you try and squeeze them into smaller cardigans, they get all squashed up and creased. So I'd already decided from the Tilly and the Buttons Make It Simple book, I wanted to go back and make another of the Bertha cardigan, which is modelled by Paige Joanna, just here. So I've made one of these in the past. I did have a paper pattern, but I've no idea what size it was in. Now this one it's like a batwing one. You can do lots of different colour block variations, but basically you've got a piece cut on the fold on the back, the 2 sleeves and the 2 front pieces, and then you've got obviously the bands and the cuffs. So I'd already decided I was going to make that. Now this isn't in an extended range, so it goes from a UK 6 to a UK 24, but I do think it would be quite easy to sort of grade it up if you wanted to, but it's quite, I found it quite oversized. And funnily enough, I think the last one I made was a dusky pink. You know, it's one of my favourite colours. So I'd made that decision on Sunday, and then I think on Monday up popped Tamlin from Versa Fabrics in my stories, you know, Tamlin from Sewn on the Tyne, with some reduced fabrics, and they were all this like, what's it called? Oh God, I've got proper brain fog today, haven't I? This like woven fabric. Some were patterned. I didn't want patterned, I wanted plain, but I'd already decided I wanted dusky pink because like pink just goes with loads of stuff that I wear, pink, blue and things, which is really what that daisy dress is for, because James loved their daisies. So this was half price, so it was £7.50 a metre. Don't know how well you can see that. It's maybe not coming over on camera so well, the colour of it, but it's a dusky pink. So I've got 2 metres of this. So that is to make the cardigan. And I'm going to try the projector files, because I've already got the A4 files rather than the paper copy from the book. So I am going to try projecting that to see if I can get it to work. And if I can't, then I'll probably just print it out, but I really don't want to do that. So I'm hoping I can get it to work. So 2 metres of that one, and I mean it's July in England, but we're all like putting the heating on and stuff, so I thought, ooh, I quite like this plum colour in it as well. Now that's coming over really well. That's very true to life. So it's like a purpley plum. How fabulous is that? How great does it look? So I just absolutely love it. So I got 2 metres of this as well, so that was £15. Now I'm thinking either a Closet Core Jackson, not yet, later in the year, or I've had a quick hold the fabric up, and if there's enough, and I think there is, I'm gonna do a jumper dress out of it, because it'll be absolutely ideal for a jumper dress. So those have sold out. I think there might be some of the florals left, waffle fabric, that's what it's called, but I suspect by the time you watch this they'll have sold out. However, they did have some viscose in the sale for £5, but that's probably all gone now as well. I know, I need some viscose. Why didn't I get that when it was on offer? So that's my fabrics for this week as well. How are we doing? 20 minutes, okay. So I just want to briefly cover what happens with the Fibre Mood subscription. So obviously I don't have any link to Fibre Mood at all, but a couple of people have asked me about it. So you've got different options. You can take on a paper magazine subscription for a year. I'll put the prices in pounds on the screen. you can go on the website and it'll give you all the prices in euros, dollars, everything. So I do like the paper magazine to look at, but I never trace patterns, so I knew that wasn't for me. You can get digital and paper, so you get the downloads, but you also get the magazine. Now, I think when I took it out, that might have been about an extra £60 on top of digital only, and you can see all the pictures online, so I just decided not to go for the magazine in any way, shape or form. So I opted for the digital one. I'll put all the prices in. So I opted for digital only. So what happens if you go for either of the digital options, so digital on its own or digital with the magazine, I think you get 5 editions a year, and each time there's a new edition, you get a code emailed to you to download 5 patterns. Now, they can be 5 from the current edition or 5 from the back catalogue. So I've kind of done a bit of each on both of those. So I've built up, I've gone back, I think I've got one more edition to get. I thought I'd got my last one. So I've kind of built up this pattern repertoire, if you like. Now, I was getting some printed off, so I think 2 editions ago I chose a winter coat. I chose different ones and dresses, and I got those printed off, and it cost me over £40 for the printing, which was when I thought, hang on, they've got projector files. I want to kind of get into projecting, so why am I not exploring this as an option and not paying for these printed ones? But like I say, you can get blank paper, Swedish tracing paper, and just draw the lines on from the projector if you want to, which is an even cheaper way of doing it. So the only thing, when you get your code for the 5 that you download, each time you've got to choose them all together, which I didn't know when I took it out. So, you know, if I see something that's a new one, I drop it into my basket online. But I then tend to have sort of a browse, where are the gaps in my wardrobe? Which patterns am I likely to use? You don't have to print them out at the time. Obviously, they're just saved into your account. The instructions, as long as you've got an account, you don't even have to buy anything from them to have an account. The instructions are all accessed online, and then I just print them off myself because I've got an Epsom Eco Tank, so it's really cheap to print off. I just can't bear print and stick. It really turns me off. So for me, it's been really good value. In a year, I'm going to get 25 patterns, and I think I'll put the price in. I'm thinking Cal got it for me for my birthday last year. Was it Christmas? Can't remember. I can't remember if it was £70 or £90, but I'll end up with 25 patterns out of it, which, even if my size goes up or down, obviously they're just there and I can project them out now. Or other ones that I've got before I had that membership, I think the Giulia Dress was one of those. That's on my system, so because it's in my account, I can use the projector file for that as well. I think I was asked, was it good value? Personally, I feel like it has been. I've deliberately the last one, which was probably springtime, I downloaded the winter coat, which I probably won't need to make this year, but I will make next year, and it's called Hunter, and I'd looked at that a couple of years ago. But like I say, they'll just stay there in my account, so it's not a bother. I won't renew it at the end of the year because personally I think I'll have built up enough of the back catalogue, and if there are any of the new designs that come out that I want to get, I would just pay for them on a ad hoc basis. I tend to like 1 or 2 things out that, for me personally, out of each edition, and I would definitely leave it until I felt like there was probably a year, maybe more, until I felt like there was enough in the back catalogue again that I might want to go for. Hope that makes sense. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. So I'm going to shoot off now. Thank you for sticking with me. It's been lush as always. I really hope you're enjoying some fabulous sewing and you're feeling great. And yeah, the weather's pants outside if you're in the UK, but just stay inside and sew. That's just the best thing in the world. So have a great time sewing, and I will catch up with you really soon. So bye for now.